Hey everybody, how we doing? Sunnyvale Rejects back in the house with another little video for you. And today we're going to take a look at women of vintage horror. That's right, women of vintage horror. And I'm talking 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. There were so many great, tremendous female writers back then. I don't have all, but I have some. And I only bought the ones who, first off, had amazing covers. I mean, come on. And those that I'm going to read. I have limited space here, and so, I only buy books now that I'm going to read. That's it. So we got to start somewhere, and this is not going to be a history lesson. I just want to show you some groovy books. So here we go. Jean Simon, The Descendants. This came out in 1989. She wrote 7 books. That's all. Not as prolific as some of the other authors that you'll see. And this is a pageant book. Is that what that says? Pageant books? Yeah. Look at that. Nice spooky cover. This is embossed. Death did not them part. 8-year-old Courtney Kramer is a very special child, but her mother doesn't know it. In fact, beautiful divorcee ex-model Frankie Kramer hasn't a clue why moving back into her dead grandmother's California house is really a deadly mistake. How many books start with that trope? Here we go. Descendants by Jean Simon. Check her out. In a Crooked Little House. Look at this beautiful cover. Wow, look at this. By A.G. Cascone. This is a sister writing duo. They wrote a ton of books together, and they even wrote Dead Time Stories. You remember Dead Time Stories? Yeah. Look at this. Very spooky though, huh? Dead Time Stories was middle grade. This is YA. Beautiful embossed title there in gold. The cover is very spooky. Look at this. You want this on your shelf. When Iggy Boy takes your picture, he shoots to kill. So stay away from Iggy Boy. Then we have Clare McNally. Clare McNally wrote 14 books, starting with 1980s Ghost House. This is Somebody Come Out and Play. Look at that die cut with the step back art. This cover, well, this copy has seen better days. I bought it for a couple of bucks. It's a reading copy, nothing else. And when I'm done, I'll find somebody to give it to, as you've heard me say numerous times. Come to the house. The Hollenbeck house was a place of tragedy. 2 children disappeared. An old woman committed suicide. Cassie's mother told her to never go near the abandoned hulk, but her new friend Nicole knew a secret way into the ruin. Tell a kid what not to do, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Clare McNally. Somebody Come Out and Play. There you go. We have another one by Clare McNally. This is Addison House. Look at this spooky cover. I noticed a lot of these covers have eyes on them. Look at that Addison House. Very cool. Yes, you love it. You want it. You need it on your shelf, and you'll look cool reading it. Come on. What is the secret of Addison House? What happened there so long ago? What grisly drama of obsessive love and hate, of twisted passions, condemned to endless replay over and over, year after year, decade upon decade? That's Clare McNally's Addison House. Now we got Patricia Wallace. Patricia Wallace, you know Patricia Wallace. Also very, very beautiful, intriguing, spectacular covers. And again, with the eyes, and this is embossed and kind of almost, reflective, but almost holographic, it seems like. Not quite, but very cool. Gives the impression that this might be some kind of medical thriller. And this is a zebra paperback from 1990. 8-year-old Bronwyn knew she wasn't like other girls. She didn't have a mother, at least, not a real one. Her mother had been in a coma at the hospital for as long as Bronwyn could remember. She couldn't feel any pain, her father said. It was just like sleeping. Only she never woke up. But when she does wake up, all hell breaks loose. And the folks that mistreated her, they pay the ultimate price. Patricia Wallace. I have Thrill too, but that's all I have for her. Okay, now we are moving into The Vampire Legacy by Karen Taylor. Check it out. There's 7 books. I'm missing 2. I think it's 3 and 4. This is book 1. Blood Secrets. Tight ass. Come on, man. Really awesome cover. The Rift. Thrift. This is another zebra paperback, but they weren't all zebras. But thrift, man, why do you do that? Come on, there's got to be a better way. Vampires. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Deidre Griffin, and I'm a vampire. Naturally, I didn't choose to become one, and I've spent the last few centuries trying to track down the vampire who converted me. Currently, I'm living in Manhattan, making my living as a successful dress designer. You don't really think about that, what vampires do during the daytime to pay the bills. In fact, you don't really picture vampires working at all. You would think, being immortal, that you'd figured it out, how to make money through the stock market, or I don't know, hell. I spend my evenings at the Ballroom of Romance, a popular nightclub where I satisfy my bloodlust with weekly feedings. Unlike other vampires, I never drain my victims. Blood Secrets, it's book 1 of the Vampire Legacy. Book 2, Bitter Blood. And once again, we've got a spectacular cover. Look at that. Very, very nice. You can still get these books fairly cheaply, and eBay has them. Etsy's got a couple, This is The Vampire Vivian. It's Pinnacle, right? Yeah, Pinnacle. So, covers have changed a little bit, but still pretty cool. Look at that. Vivian must be a bad you-know-what. Let's find out. Interview with a Vampire. Have we heard that before? Allow me to introduce myself again. My name is Vivian Corbett, and I've been a vampire since 1719. Let me assure you, I don't look a day over 29. That's very specific. You're probably more familiar with my blood sister, Deidre Griffin, but she's on holiday right now, so I thought I'd take center stage and tell you my life story. So I guess in this book, we're going to hear the life story of Deidre's sister. Look at that. Nice little paperback. Fun series. And here we have Resurrection. This is book 6. Like I said, I think I'm missing 3 and 4. This is book 6. Vivian would have been 5. Pretty cool. What's this rascal about? Death everlasting. Come on. My name is Deidre Griffin. When you've led a vampire's existence for as long as I have, attempting to satiate an unquenchable thirst while hostile beings seek your destruction, you're grateful for a place to call home even. Manhattan was home, and home to those like myself in the cadre, C-A-D-R-E, somebody help me, until a group of immortals known as the Others targeted us for execution. Those vampires, man, they just can't get straight, can they? Always bickering between each other. You'd think they'd have figured out the blood problem, too. Instead of draining humans and drawing attention to themselves, why not just, buy into blood banks or something like that? There's got to be a better way. And here's the last book, Blood Red Dawn by Karen E. Taylor. Last book in the Vampire Legacy. Have you ever heard of it? Have you guys ever read any of her books? Let me know. I'd love to know what you think. And while you're leaving me a comment, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys way far more than you can ever imagine. Thank you so much for everything. Moving right along. What we got here? What's this? It's Wild Violets by Ruth Baker Field. It was the only book she ever wrote. Surely you guys have heard about this. Wild Violets. This book is getting harder and harder to find, and if you can find it, it's pretty expensive and generally in, good, fair, acceptable shape. If you can find a nice copy of this, get it. It looks good on the shelf. It's vintage, it's rare, and also the story is extremely, well, I don't know if it would fly today, to be honest with you. Really what it's about is a serial killer who has mommy issues. His father was killed, so he took the helm as the man of the house early on, and I think he misunderstood what the man of the house meant, because he had a messed up relationship with his mother that hints, I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say that hints at incest. And because he's sexually repressed, he murders and abuses women because he blames them for his issues. It's Ruth Baker Field's Wild Violets. They grew in my mother's garden. Their pure, silky petals reach out like the hungry arms of a lover, yearning, caressing, waiting. I want to touch them, but I'm afraid. They look so peaceful and enticing, but just like a woman, they hide and deceive. Please, don't get too close to my mother's wild violets. Their beauty is evil, their fragrance is death, and what lies beneath them is too horrible to see. Beautiful, beautiful copy of Wild Violets. In the very first scene, my man is burying a head in the garden. What do you think? If you've read this, let me know. I'd really like to hear what you think about this. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at some Ruby Jean Jensen. Look at this. I have 2 copies of this. She wrote 30 books. Starting with 1974's The House That Samuel Built. She was born in Missouri in 1927, in November the 16th. I think it was 2010 at 83. She died in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So she was a Southern lady. Much respect to her. Fayetteville, Arkansas is just north of where I was born in Russellville. That's where the University of Arkansas is. This one you've probably seen. And she wrote a vampire book who I can't remember right now what the name of it was, but that's the more common one. I have 2 copies. Summer Carnival. Amy and Jody had been scared to stay with their dad for the very first time since the divorce, but living with the traveling carnival for the summer turned out to be fun. The glimmering lights on the Midway, riding the Ferris wheel, and eating hot dogs and cotton candy for dinner was their idea of pure heaven. I'm guessing that didn't last very long before all hell, all evil hell broke loose. What do you think? Then we have Lost and Found. Lost and Found. She wrote a lot of spooky doll, gothic horror books, you know. Young children were involved quite a bit. Look at this, Lost and Found. This is a nice copy. The spine is a little bit, no, it looks okay. It's not too bad, right? There's a couple of creases, but these old zebra paperbacks are hard to find, and when you can find them, you got to take what you can get. A Mother's Terror. The dreams have been coming with increasing frequency. The ground splitting open, the head of an infant emerging, its eyes wide open, its mouth filled with pointed, needle-sharp teeth. Margaret would wake up screaming to find herself safe in bed with her husband beside her. It had, after all, been only a dream, and dreams can never hurt you. Can they? What do you think? Look, that's embossed. That's really cool. Some of these old books, you know, these old Zebra, Leisure, Pinnacle, Delacourt too, you don't even want to read them. They're just so nice that you just want to hold them in your hand and look at them, but that's not all they're for. All right, so The Haunting. Beautiful copy of The Haunting. Ruby Jean Jensen. Look at this, and again with the eyes. Cannot wait to dig into this. Cannot wait to dig into this. What a nice copy. I was very fortunate to get this, and I think I got this off of Etsy. Etsy's great, man. I'll never shop at eBay again for books, never. I had 3 bad experiences in a row, and they protect the buyer. They protect the seller and not necessarily the buyer. So if you're looking for books, go to Pango. Pango is in a hidden gem among book retailers. So Pango, Etsy, Amazon. And the reason I say Amazon, not because it's a big, conglomerate, but because they have great customer service. And if you have a problem, they fix it, period, the end. When it comes to writing tales of sheer terror and heart-stopping suspense, nobody does it better than Ruby Jean Jensen. And I gotta tell you, I love that name. What a great name for a writer. The Abandoned House in the Woods is exactly what real estate agent Katie Rogers has been looking for. Thrilled with her find, she moves in with her sister and young niece and nephew, blissfully unaware of its gruesome history of bloodshed and murder. Guys, you've read enough books to know what's about to happen. Nothing good. Ghosts, whether real or imagined. It's The Haunting, and it's a beautiful copy by Ruby Jean Jensen. And once again, looky there at the eyeballs. Come on now. And you saw this in my last video, because I'm going to read this pretty soon. This is Ruby Jean Jensen's Night Thunder, and it was her last book. If I'm not mistaken, it came out in 94, but I'm probably mistaken. 95, damn it, I was real close. Ruby Jean Jensen's Night Thunder, Damn my eyes. I tried to rip that sticker off carefully, but it stuck, you know, and the spine's seen better days, but this is definitely a reading copy, and I can't wait to find that kid that I can hand this to and say, here, just have some fun. Look, kids where I teach don't want to read The Great Gatsby. They don't give a damn about Hemingway. They can't, that story, those books, they don't resonate with them. But this right here, they're just pure fun. You know, they don't have to constantly seek some deeper meaning. Just have fun with this. Go with the flow. It's Ruby Jean Jensen. Now we're moving on to the author that I'm the most excited about reading. I've only got 3 of her books here, but I will get more. It's Dana Reed. It's Deathbringer. Dana Reed, Deathbringer. She wrote 16 books. She wrote novels, she wrote horror, she wrote romantic thrillers, mysteries. She worked as a reporter. She was also a teacher. Look at this. This is embossed. It's Deathbringer. The cover rocks. Spine is nice and everything's tight and clean on it. I was very fortunate to get this book. And then when I got this and saw how nice it was, because I'd done my research on her and I knew I wanted to dig in, I bought a couple more, and I was fortunate enough to receive some great copies. So, and the last book I want to show y'all is the one I'm the most proud of. I got it from Blind Horse Books. I also have some more signed copies coming from them. Check them out. Blind Horse Books in DeLand, Florida. Man, they got you covered with the signed books, and they're $19.95, $25. They're very cheap. Great add to your collections. Blood on the Moon. East Cove had always been a charming, sleepy little place until the bloody, nightmarish killings began, leaving many of the townspeople literally torn to shreds. Who or what is the fiendish slayer that only strikes when the moon is full? Is it Frank Foster, hideously deformed and hidden away in the dungeon-like basement of his mother's house? The usual suspects, right? Or the voodoo priest who can call forth the restless dead from their graves? You're gonna have to read the book to find out. Get yourself a copy. Tell me all about it. Okay. Look at this. Come on. Dana Reed, The Gatekeeper. Look at this. Spectacular cover. My God. I know there's some great covers out there these days, but it just seems like they just don't make books like this anymore. The spine is not creased. The paint in the, is a little bit cracked right there from use, but very little use. Appears like it might have been read one time, but I'm so fortunate to have this copy. Really, it's beautiful and spooky as hell. The house stood empty, dark, and foreboding, but it was the answer to all of Erica Walsh's problems. A sturdy roof, a place to raise her kids, a home of her own for the rest of her natural life. But if the house was empty, who was watching Erica with dead, vacant eyes? Again with the eyes. Again with the eyes. Where was I? But if the house was empty, who was watching Erica with dead, vacant eyes, calling her name in the night with foul and fetid breath, caressing and arousing her with rough, probing hands? Naughty, damn, demonic ghost. Bothering people in their sheets. Bothering people in their sleep. But my question was going to be, why is it that ghosts always rip the sheets off people? Why do they do that? I used to live in a house that I thought was haunted because people did die in it. In fact, where I'm from, Vicksburg, Mississippi, I don't live there now, but so many thousands of people died in the Civil War. And there's a lot of legends of Confederate soldiers and weeping widows, hanging out on the balconies of the houses waiting for their soldier husbands to return, and they never did, of course. And so there's a lot of legends of ghostly female figures on the balconies looking out for their man, and the dead soldiers walking home, not knowing that they're dead, just looking for some peace and quiet. And exciting stuff. Tragic, but exciting and spooky, All right, I'm shutting up. The time has come to show you the last book, and I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. I know my videos aren't always the best. I try to make entertaining videos for you guys, but I don't know how to edit, and I don't have the damn time. So when I make a mistake, I just have to keep it, and that's the way it is in life, man. You make mistakes, you apologize, and try to redeem yourself and make amends where you can. But if you can't, you say you're sorry to the Almighty, whoever that is for you, and you move on. So look at this. I'm so proud to have this. It's Dana Reed's Demon Within. Demon Within. Look at that. You can see where it's embossed. Great looking book. Beautiful shape, from Blind Horse Books in DeLand, Florida. In fact, I got to talking to the owner. His name is Richard Oates, and I sent him a couple of signed copies of my books, Laughing is Forever and Blame Forest, and he knows someone else around DeLand that has a bookstore, and he's going to try to get me some readings. So maybe I'll have some good news for you guys in the next video or somewhere down the road. And if you can make it to DeLand and see me, I'd be honored, and it'd be nice to meet you guys. But check this out. That's not all. It's signed. That's right, y'all. It's signed by the author. And check out what it says. There's a demon within all of us. Dana Reed. How cool is that? How cool is that? I'd be lying if I said anything at all about the publisher's actual name. I cannot remember the publisher's actual name, but she had a falling out over non-payment of royalties. So she left the publisher she was with and republished all of her own books. Badass woman. Dana Reed. Demon Within. What's it about, you ask? I was just about to tell you. Samantha Croft left her small hometown and moved to New York City to escape the nightmare of her past. Young and alone, she was drawn as if by fate to the old apartment building where a new nightmare awaited her. For in the dark, deserted corridors of Bridgegate Court, young female residents were being butchered, their bodies slashed, chewed, mutilated. What kind of freak or what kind of freakish creature does that? Does the title and the cover do any work to inform you? Read the damn book and find out yourself. I'm sure you're going to love it. I don't know because I haven't read it yet, but I will very soon. I might get me another copy to read, though, because this is mint and it's signed, and I definitely don't want to bend up that spine, but I got to read it. That's why I get them. That's it. Sunnyvale Rejects out. I appreciate your time and attention too much to go on. Thank you guys for sticking with me on this journey. I love you so much. I wish you the very best. Stay cool. Never, ever stop reading. And while you're at it, write your own book.